Today, we're going to be talking about the Rust console community and why July 5th is a massive moment for the console edition of Rust. We're going to be talking about where everything started, how we stand right now, whether this game is growing or shrinking, and what the future looks like. So let's just get into it. Hit subscribe if you're interested in Rust content, but I'm not going to waste your time, so let's get into it. Where did the Rust console edition start? Well, Rust, the console edition at least, had a massive head start compared to most games. There was a huge fan base built up. There were a lot of players who would watch streamers like Wayland, Blueprint, and recently people like Trainwrecks and XQC play Rust. They were super interested in this game, so there was a huge amount of hype around it. Now, the Rust sort of launch did falter a little bit. It didn't release at a high point for Rust. If you look at how many people are playing it on PC, who was streaming it, how many views it got, it wasn't that huge, but it's still sort of released to a good amount of fanfare. People were really interested in it. I can use my own analytics to sort of tell you that. Leading up to the Rust console edition launch, I was getting about 30,000 views on these Rust sort of news reviews or news updates. That's a decent amount of views for my channel. Usually I'm sitting somewhere around like a couple hundred to a couple thousand. So 30,000 is massive. It's like mind-blowingly massive, but it did get better for me and it got better for Rust. Because on launch, I was getting videos with 50 to 100,000 views. That is something that I never even imagined would happen. It was mind-blowing. It was crazy to see, and it shows you just how big the community is. Looking at one of my videos, you can assume that the community is probably like 90 to like a couple 100% larger than that. So my guess is Rust probably sold somewhere around 1 million copies or more. This is just on the Xbox and the PlayStation. It's a huge amount. It sounds astronomical to me, but just looking at everything I saw and looking at how filled the servers were, how many servers there were, how many views different videos were getting, I can pretty confidently say that we are looking at the realm of like 1 million copies sold or some massive amount like that. It was sold out. It was a top-selling game on most stores, Xbox and PlayStation. That's considering the fact that it was split between 3 editions. So yeah, it was a massive launch to a lot of fanfare. Players were super interested in the game. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I've got a ton of videos outlining this, so just go check those out. I'm not going to waste your time. But the launch was less than ideal, and saying less than ideal is like saying Hitler was sort of not that great for the Jews. It was astronomically bad. Players couldn't even play the game. It was ridiculous. And what that means is that you lose a huge amount of players. People who $60 isn't that much to them. It's, it is what it is. They got into the game, they played it for a little bit, and they said, I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't want the lag. I don't want these bugs. I don't want this effort going to waste. So you know what? I'm leaving. So a lot of players, they just picked up the game and they left, right? And the problem with Rust is it's not like Cyberpunk, it's not like Skyrim, it's not an RPG, obviously, but it's not a game that you can just play on your own. I mean, you can play on your own, but it's not that fun. It's not like sitting in the bathroom jacking off or anything like that. This is a multiplayer experience. Anyways, it's a multiplayer experience, which means you want people online to play with. So when servers numbers were dropping and sort of at the height of all the issues and all the problems with the community, things were pretty low. Servers weren't filling up. You're looking at maybe like 50 players playing on a server that at one point had 100 players, 100 being the max player count. At one point, this server was filled up during peak hours, and when things were bad and people couldn't connect to the game, PlayStation players were having blue screen issues, Xbox players that literally couldn't connect to the game. It was bad. You were looking at like 20 to 50 people on these servers. So at this point, you could say the community had probably been cut in half or even more. You're looking at maybe 100,000 people that were playing the game altogether at that point, but things have recovered since then. There have been some updates, and a lot of people, I think, have come back to the game, but I don't think we're anywhere near where we were at launch. In my opinion, right now, this game is sitting at maybe like 200 to 300,000 people that are playing the game. And when I say playing the game, I mean logging in for a couple hours over a couple weeks or a week or two. Couple weeks, that's the whole history of the game. That's it. But over the last like week, let's say, probably something like 200 to 300,000 people that are just interested in the game. This is over Xbox, this is over PlayStation, and maybe my numbers seem massively inflated because I don't really have that any access to it, but I think that's roughly where we stand. Just looking at the servers, looking at how filled up they are, looking at the amount of people cycling through different servers, I think that there's still a decent amount of people that are logging in at least once a week. But Rust is about to get a huge moment in history that could really take this game to the next level. And what that is that's the OTV servers. If you don't know, offline TV, group of streamers, they do a lot of stuff. They role play, they have fun. They make Rust look like the game that, well, everybody wants it to be, right? It's the game that you show your mother. You say, look at this, a bunch of people are having fun. You don't show them the kids screaming that N-word into the microphone 24/7, annoying you in your base. No, you show them this version of Rust. And that's what these people are seeing. They're seeing a friendlier version of Rust where people are role playing and the game's very chill, very relaxed. You can build your thing, you can hang out. It is a perfect paradise. And because of that, because of the audience that's seeing this, there's going to be a huge influx of players on the PC version of Rust, but also on the console version of Rust. The thing is, even though these people, OTV and everybody who's joining in on their servers, and when I say everybody, I mean usually there's people like Trainwrecks, you got XQC, you got Shroud, you got Mist, you got a ton of big names that are jumping into this. People who are getting 20, 30, 40,000 viewers a stream, they're going to be jumping into this, or 30, 40,000 viewers at a time. And these streams cycle through people pretty fast. So if you think about that, that's hundreds of thousands of people that are seeing this. If even 1% of them decide to look into this game and pick it up, that is a good amount of sales for any company. So for Rust, what this means is the console version of Rust needs to be in a good state by July 5th because there are going to be a ton of people looking into this game and picking it up. And if they have the experience that we all had at launch, a huge amount of them are just going to drop from the game. My guess is you're going to be looking at 70 to 90% of people. If they pick this game up and they're getting that launch day experience, they're going to be leaving. But they won't be. We know where this game stands right now. And where it stands right now, if you have a next-generation console, you're going to be running this game and getting the full sort of Rust experience. If you have last gen, you will get a few bugs here and there, but overall, you're still going to be getting a really good experience. A lot of people are saying, well, C4, things like that don't work. There's glitches at Bandit Camp and all that, but those are for people who are a little bit more advanced, right? You're not taking a speedboat underwater to see into someone's base when you've got 1 hour of playtime. This is sort of those high IQ, those 200-hour Andes. Those are the people who are going to be doing that shit, right? Those aren't going to be the people who are coming from OTV. Those aren't going to be the people who are jumping into Rust for the first time. Those people are just going to be looking for that base experience. They're going to be looking to build, do something cool, try and role play. They're probably going to get destroyed by you guys because let's face it, most of you are assholes. But that's what they're looking for, and I think that's what a lot of them are going to get. The retention isn't going to be huge on Rust just to begin with because of the nature of the beast and the nature of the game and how toxic everything is around this game. But in my opinion, the console version of Rust is a lot more friendly than the PC version of Rust, so it's got that going for it. And because everybody's so new, what this means is a lot of people still really have no idea what they're doing. A lot of you people watching this video probably haven't even hit the subscribe button on my channel, and you're just clueless, right? If you can't figure out how to subscribe to my channel, you can't figure out this game. But because of that, it means it's going to be a friendlier atmosphere. People are going to feel like they have a fair shot at it, and the skill gap between a good controller player and a sort of average controller player is a lot closer than someone who's really good with the mouse and keyboard and someone who's not that good. So I think that the console version of Rust has a real shot at something because it's a friendlier version of Rust. It's a little bit easier for people to get into. It's new, so you're not dealing with these people of 10 million hours in the game and they literally sacrifice their life, their mother, their dog, their friends, their family, everything that means anything to them so they can live under a bridge with some sort of like random internet connection and hope that they can actually play this game 24/7. Those people aren't really, well, people haven't given up their lives yet for it, or at least some of you are probably still just burning through your savings, right? I mean, I'm pretending you have savings. You're burning through your parents' like happiness. At some point, they're going to hate you and then you're out on your own. Don't let it get to that point. Anyways, what this means, though, is that this game's still fairly new to a lot of people, and it gives new players a really good opportunity to get into it. So I think if everything goes right, if the Rust development team can keep everything where it is now, maybe make some improvements on the game, and better yet, make sure all the servers don't crash or give any of that funkiness that they did on launch, this could be the moment in time. July 5th could be that moment that Rust really sort of takes off on the console, that we see these servers getting populated again, and that we have a active, thriving community that is hopefully going to keep growing and not have that sort of launch day hype and drop off that we did. So yeah, I think that's a massive opportunity. And if it was me, what I'd be doing, what I'd tell the dev team to do is set something up. So July 5th, everybody comes into the game, they're playing it. The next wipe is going to be the last Thursday of the month. Have a big release ready for that, right? Skin store, that should be dropping. You should be dropping some electricity stuff. You should be dropping some new monuments. You should be dropping some killer maps. Don't just take any seed that works and doesn't lag. Look for some really good seeds that are going to give players a really cool opportunity or a really good opportunity to do something. Pick out some seeds that have different islands and stuff like that. Open the game up a little bit more to role players. Get some sort of community server, even if you've got to pay for it. Get a community server going. I know I saw during the beta, this is 100% possible. Get some servers going that are like 2x, 3x. Get some servers that have a little bit less of a decay on them. Get some servers that are for people who don't really want to no-life the game, because those are the people with money, and you probably want to sell the game to them because guess what? They're the ones who are going to be able to buy skins. People who are playing Rust 24/7 generally aren't making that much money. It's true. Anyways, that's what I think they should do. And if they can really capitalize on this, get the right servers going, get the right updates coming out, and get maybe even some killer skins, overall, it's a huge opportunity that I really hope they can capitalize on, because I can see this being a really big catalyst for Rust. I can see this launching them into sort of the next stratosphere, getting the game some players that it needs to actually keep the game alive for any significant period of time. And in addition to that, if you have to, the one thing that they really should be considering doing, putting the game on sale. Right now, it is 20 USD to buy on the PC, and on the console, it is 60. I don't know how you can justify that price, because honestly, if you have a gaming PC, which a lot of these people will have, you're probably going to want to buy the console version or the PC version Rust because it's cheaper and it has more on it. If you have the console and you don't have a PC, yes, you're going to get the console version Rust, but it's $60. That's a lot of money. What they should be doing, drop it down to 30, drop it down to 20, compete with the PC version Rust, which, like we've said, has more for it. And then maybe people who are on the fence, if their friends have consoles and they have that version Rust, that's what they'll get. And then we'll get a bigger player base, and they can make money later on off of the skins. It's very short-sighted to think that the only way to make money off of this game is to get it on launch. No, if you drop the price, if you get more people in, you can get it over time through skins and everything like that. People right now are willing to fork out a good amount of money on Steam just to get that cool-looking skin. If you can sell a nice skin pack for like 20, 30 bucks, do that a couple times over the year, that player that came in for $20 is now in the hole for $100. And it's much better to have that person in the game than it is not to. And let's also face it, if you don't have people in the game, the people who buy skins aren't going to buy skins because you don't buy skins to look cool to yourself. You buy them so that you can look cool to everybody else that's playing with you and seeing you and interacting with your character. If there's no one online, there's no reason to buy those skins. So what they need to do is get this game on sale, get a really good sort of deal for the money for the players who are looking to get into it, because there are going to be a huge amount of people. Get them into the game and get the game populated, get the game feeling like it should, and then things are going to just come with that. There's just going to naturally be an influx of people that are buying skins and spending money, and overall it's going to be a huge opportunity. Anyways, that's sort of my call out right there. I hope someone from the dev team is listening, just because I really do think that this is a huge opportunity for them. I feel like they definitely know this in the back of their heads, but I wanted to put this out just so the community knows and so that people can sort of hopefully cheer on the dev team and root for them to get everything together and make this game what it needs to be by July 5th to get more people into this community, really grow everything, and just make everybody have a better time. Also, be nice. There's going to be a lot of new players coming in, and just because you've got the blueprints for an AK or some sort of sick gun doesn't mean you should show off how fast you can fire it. Be nice to these new players. Give them the opportunity to survive, because what that means is that you can kill them later on and they'll have better loot. It's called long-term farming. Think about it that way. It's sustainable farming. If you kill a new player right when they get in, that's not sustainable. They're going to leave the server. Let them get started, let them build a base, and then kill them and slowly take loot that they've worked hours and hours of. Just slowly kill them. It's sustainable farming. Think about it that way. Sustainable human farming. That is what I'm going to leave you with. So thank you for watching, and until next time, peace.